He's been a driving force behind public and private partnerships like the one in place with Rutgers University and across New Brunswick and others. And his vision has helped shape ambitious projects like the New Brunswick Performing Arts Center, the Jack and Cheryl Morris Cancer Center, and now HELIX NJ, a $1.6 billion hub for health and life sciences innovation.
We committed economic suicide. My wife and I had a baby. She left a big law firm, and I took a government job. So we had two good jobs, and then we ended up with a half one. And just as we were running out of money, I had the opportunity to come over and become the deputy director of the New Jersey Economic Development Authority, which I was able to get a little bit of a pay raise, and started working on large real estate projects. And at that point, we were just trying to steal companies from New York City and bring them to Jersey City. Unfortunately or fortunately, because again, you never know where the next opportunity is going to come. Governor Florio lost his reelection, and I was going back to practice law. And George Zoffinger, who's the chairman of DEVCO now, and who had been the Secretary of Commerce in New Jersey, said, "Hey, I took over this bank, and I just talked to the guys from Johnson & Johnson, and they want to resurrect DEVCO. And why don't we do this for a year?" And we kind of, we looked at it, and it was in pretty dire shape. It had not had any leadership for about 2 years. We actually had $100,000 in the bank and $6 million of unsecured debt. And he said, "Look, it's sometime the one-eyed man in the valley of the blind is king. Maybe we can make something out of this. We're a not-for-profit, but I basically say we're a not-for-profit, so I don't get to keep the money that we make, so I don't get a beach house out of it." And we really have put, in place a unique blend of kind of being an entrepreneur, real estate, basically the bones of running a real estate business. But primarily, the important thing we do is create partnerships. And we create partnerships in a city where from my office, I can see where the CEO of Johnson & Johnson works, the president of Rutgers, and the president of the largest hospital system in New Jersey, and City Hall and the county, and really building those relationships very early on and truly understanding where other people want to go from a policy standpoint, and then helping them get there. We started to tell a story of building not a bunch of buildings across from the New Brunswick train station, but laying the groundwork for an ecosystem. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think an ecosystem has to develop itself, but science needs a place, and understanding what lessons they've learned from going to places like Kendall Square is that people like to collaborate. Young researchers want to go look in somebody else's microscope. They're looking to solve a problem over lunch sometime. Mm-hmm. People talk to each other. And so we started to build a neighborhood that we thought would foster that kind of relationships. I think, as I said before, there are more PhDs that live in New Jersey than anywhere else in the world on a per capita basis. But just to give you an example, I got a call several months ago from a researcher at Sloan Kettering, who said, he said, "Look, I see patients here. I see patients in our New Jersey locations. I have a lab in New York City, but my three partners on our startup all live in New Jersey. And when can we move into the HELIX?" And our timing didn't necessarily work out, but those people are out there, and they're looking for a place. I think what's really important is they're not in New Jersey. There's a lot of pharmaceutical companies that have changed up, and there's a lot of vacant old lab space, right? But they don't want to walk from their parking lot, through the doors up to the second floor and close their door in their lab space.
Your credo is that a city is never finished. So how has that mindset guided your work at DEVCO?
You can't dwell on nostalgia. I have so many people say to me, "Oh, I just remember New Brunswick when I was growing up." And I say, "Well, we have that on a back lot in Pennsylvania. We could bring it back." People kind of give that a second thought. But cities that don't reinvent themselves really fail. And we have reinvented New Brunswick, or helped New Brunswick reinvent itself for the last 3 decades. But New Brunswick, for several hundred years has continuously reinvented itself. So, I think it's diving in, never giving up, being relentless, solving other people's problems, understanding your partner's problems and solving them for them. People ask me, when will you be done? And I said, hopefully not. It'll just pass the baton on to the next person.
Relentless to unicorns.